Namaste, dear children. Let us work on the second chapter of the political science, class 10. The name of the chapter is Federalism. In the previous chapter of power sharing, there we have learned there were two types where we could observe the power sharing was existing. One we called it as vertical power sharing. Second one we call it as horizontal power sharing. So the power sharing is concerned, there we could notice the vertical power sharing was on the levels of government. Second one, horizontal power sharing. In the horizontal power sharing, we could see the power was shared between the legislative, executive, and judiciary. So here in this chapter, the vertical power division which has taken place, how it works, what are the forms of power sharing, that we are going to learn in this chapter. It is commonly referred as federalism, the sharing of the power and working of the different levels of the government. We can call it as federalism. In this, we are going to learn general terms which are used, and second one tries to understand the theory and practice of the federalism in India, and federal constitutional provisions which are existing, how they have been adjusted in the Indian constitution and strengthened the federal system, that we are going to learn in this chapter. In India, we have created a third important level of government, that we call it as local government. In the last part of this chapter, we are going to discuss about the third part, that is local government. So let us go ahead with our learning. So what is federalism actually? This is the first question. We have learned the two case studies regarding Belgium and Sri Lanka. You recall it. The constitution of the Belgium has reduced the power of central government and given the powers to the regional government which are existing in the Belgium. And they are well defined by amendments in the constitution, the powers and functions of the each levels of government. All these powers were given in such a way that they will not get disturbed each other. The change that took place in 1993 was constitutional changes which have made them. They are no longer depend upon the central government. Earlier, the Belgium was having unitary type of government. The word unitary, you have to understand, means single type of a government. And they have changed to federal form of government. What is federal form of government? We are going to discuss. But whereas in Sri Lanka, it has continued with the unitary system. All the powers of the government was in the hands of the central government, or it can be called as a national government or unitary government. The Tamil leaders wanted Sri Lanka to become a federal system, but whereas the Simhala's provisions increased majoritarian government they have brought, and they have continued with the unitary government, and so many problems started to come up and they started to face also. So dear children, then what is federalism actually? Federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between the central authority and various constitutional units of the country. Once again, federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between central authority and various constituent units of the country. Here the word constituent units you have to understand means constitutional part. So usually the federalism will have two levels of government. One government is for entire country, that only we call it as central government or a unitary government. Another second level of a government which is responsible for few subjects and look after the regional part of that country on a day-to-day functioning of the activities. Everything will be monitored and it will be supporting those provinces. We call it as a state. Actually, day-to-day administering of the state is cared by them. Both these levels of government enjoy their power independent of the other. That we have to understand. This is the most important part, where technically we try to understand the federal structure. Both levels of the government will enjoy their power independently. So both these levels of government enjoy their power independent of their powers with each other. So dear children, here we have to learn that federalism is a structure. Now we have to go for again to understand some of the points regarding in this sense of federalism. When we looks into, there are two types of the government we could observe there. One is a unitary government, another one is federal government. Another word where we have to understand is a federations. There are federations. They are contrasted with the unitary government. Under the unitary system, there is only one level of a government, or the units which are subordinate to the central government. Subordinate, they are equal. The central government can pass orders only to the provincial or the local government. But in the federal system, the central government cannot order the state government to do something. In the unitary form, central government can order, but in the federal system, central government cannot order something to the state government. Here, state government has the power of its own, for which it is not answerable to the government. We have to understand the difference between the unitary government and federal government. Mainly, we have to consider here, in the federal government, two levels of the governments are there, which are subordinate. Subordinate, they are equal. They are not answerable to each. Central government cannot dominate on other government, and other government which is existing state government, it is having its own powers and functions which is not answerable to the central government. But in the unitary form of governments, what it is conditions? There a single type of a government will be there, all the decisions will be made there. by the central government only. So now we have to both these governments, when separately answerable in the federal system, what are the key features of federalism we have to look into. So let us go for understanding what are the key features of federalisms which are existing. Dear children, here you have to understand what are the main features. If these features are existing, then only it is called as a federalism. So federal system. Now what exactly we have to do? We have to take the notes now. Now notes, please note down the important points regarding the federalism meaning. I hope you can see this one very clearly. Federalism is a system of a government in which the power is divided between a central authority and various constituent units of the country. Second point, usually a federation has two levels of government. Generally or usually a federation has or federal system has two levels of government. One is the government for the entire country that is usually responsible for few subjects of common national interest. Then the other are governments that at the level of provinces or states, they will look after day-to-day administrating works or needs of the people will be satisfied them. So they are not responsible for national interested national interest, and providing subjects are different. Both these level governments enjoy their power independent of the other. These are the points which we have learned now. Please note down in your notes. And accordingly, so in the federal system, we have to understand the federal is state, country, we can country, and local government, we can regional, and we can see here. What are the key features of federalism? Now we have to come for that part. There are two or more levels of the government. It is the first feature of the federalism. Second, there are different tiers of government, govern the same citizens, but each tier has its own jurisdiction in specific matters of legislation, taxation, and administration. Here the word tiers of government, levels of government. What is the three levels of the government existing in our country? If you are going to look, one is unitary government or a central government. Second one is state government. Third one is local government. Here each tier has its own jurisdiction area of functioning in a specific matters of legislation, law making, taxation, collecting the taxes, and looking after the day-to-day functioning of the administrative policies and other things. Third important feature, the jurisdictions of the respective levels or tiers of government are specified in the constitution. The role, function, power, everything is well defined in the constitution. So the existing and authority of the each levels of government is constitutionally guaranteed. So they cannot occupy, they cannot attack on each other. It has been guaranteed. Their authority, their function, everything has been well defined in the constitution. This is the key feature, third key feature of the federal system. Fourth one, the fundamental provisions of the constitution cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of government. Such changes require consent of both the levels of government. Some of the important basic provisions which are mentioned in the constitution, they cannot be changed by one government or one level of government. Such changes, if it is required or necessary, both the government has to come together and they have to make the changes. In this way, the changes of the constitution is concerned. If they want to do anything, they can do only through constitutional agreements. Based on that only they can do. So dear children, courts have the power to interpret the constitution, and the powers are different of the level government. If any disputes comes, court is there, judiciary is there. The highest court of the country works as an umpire if disputes arise between the different levels of the government in the exercise of their powers. Here, so in India, Supreme Court is the highest court. So this highest court acts as an umpire if any disputes comes between the levels of government, that is central and state government. So the sources of revenue for each level of the government are also clearly specified here. So when the one tax policy GST, when it has come, how much income the state government is going to get, well defined. It has been defined in the constitution. So sources of revenue for each levels of the government is clearly specified and well defined. So to provide financial autonomy, financial powers to the government. The federal system has a dual objective. One is safeguarding and promoting the unity of the country. In the same, while same, the time accommodate regional diversity also. Every sect, every part has to be taken care. Federal system has dual objectives to safeguard and promote the unity of the country, and while at the same time it accommodates regional diversity also. So this is one of the important aspects which we have to remember regarding the federal systems of the country. These are the key features of the country. Then, dear children, two important aspects are there which we have to go through now. One is, there are two types of the federal practices we can observe in the world. Two aspects are there. What are those? One is holding together federalism and coming together federalism. That let us look into that. Governments at the different levels should agree to some rules of the power sharing. They should also trust that each would abide its part of the government. Next, an ideal federal system has both aspects, mutual trust and agreement of living together. So now, balance of the power, how they will do? They exact the balance of power between the central and the state government in various forms of federation to one another. To balance depends mainly on the historical context, how that country is existing, how the people were living earlier, what arrangements were made in that country. Based on that, the federation is going to be formed. So which I told you, there are two types of the federations are generally identified in the world. One is coming together, second one is holding together types of federalism. So mainly how they are going to form it, any bases are there on their historical background and as well as and the need of their hour that they are going to do it. Based on that, the balance of power we can see in the federations. Then the question starts, what is coming together? The first route or first one is a coming together. Here what the states all will try to come together to form a bigger unit, so that they can have one sovereignty or polling sovereignty and retaining the identity. They can increase their security. What is this polling sovereignty? To elect the head of the country, all states will have the voting power, so that they will organize it through the constitutional provision. One central government formation, it will take place. It will help if they are coming together. What they will do, it will be identification of their particular provision, culture, everything, language. They can retain it, and they will have a security. Anything disturbs to them, immediately they can approach to the next higher level of the government. But they are subordinate government, we can say. This type of a government is existing in the USA. It is coming together. For example, USA, Switzerland, Australia, these federations, all they constitute states usually have a equal power and are strong vice versa of the government. So central government, simply they cannot impose any law on them. So state governments are independently, they are having certain powers and functions to perform. So this we could observe in the USA, Switzerland and Australia. Second type of the federations which we can see in the world is where large country decides to divide its power between the constituent states. One big nation is there, but one government is existing. Now it will divide its powers. One is national government, another one is provincial, or we can say state government. Example is India. Here central government is divided the states. For example, again Andhra you go, they want a separate state. So Telangana created separate state. So separate state who created? By passing the amendment, bringing to the changes in the constitution, the parliament, not themselves they can create it here. Or Andhra state has taken the decision to divide it, not like that. It has to be considered the central government order. Same way. So in India, what will happen here? One is central government, state government and local governments. This type of the arrangement which we can see in the constitution, that we call it as a holding together. Here governments are not subordinate. So India, Spain, Belgium are the example for this type of the federations which are existing. Second category of the government federation which we can see. So here central government to be more powerful than the state government. Very often different constitutional units of federation have unequal powers. Some units are granted special powers some occasions only. Earlier it is there in your textbook. Please cancel that paragraph. You know that the Jammu Kashmir was having the special provision, and whatever Indian parliament or Indian constitution is to say, they were having a separate one according to the 370A article and all that you might have observed in the newspapers and televisions and all discussions which have taken place. And they divided that one into union territory, Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. So that we can see here, dear children. So I hope you can see in your textbook on map is given Gilgit area, POK, Pak occupied Kashmir. It has been captured by the Pakistan. It is called Pak occupied Kashmir. So Kashmir became a one union territory, Jammu became another union territory, and Leh became another union territory. So these are the Ladakh, which it became another union territory. So here These are the three levels of the different states which are functioning that we could observe, and union based, Indian union based principles of federalism which we could function, and all we have come to know. Dear children, how is federalism practiced in our country? What makes India a federal nation? That we have to look into, so that we will get back to you in the next class.